Welcome to this yoga sequence to soothe tension away from your sacro-illiac area. I'm Kat. I'm so grateful you're here. Please do subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. This is Kat Sarah Yoga. Enjoy the class. Come forward to hands and knees. Widen your knees with big toes together and sink your bottom down to your heels in hare pose. Reach your arms out in front of you and relax your upper body down. Breathe into your sacro-illiac area. Breathe into that joint where the spine meets the pelvis. Turn your palms to face upwards. Notice how this gives you a bit of a stretch in between the shoulder blades. The outside edges of the shoulder blades roll towards the earth. Breathe into the upper back for a few moments. See if you can keep that external spiral rotation in the upper arms feeling as you turn the palms to face down again. Grounding the hands down and breathing into the shoulders, just feeling how you get a stretch in between the shoulder blades here. Relaxing face and jaw, lips, teeth and tongue. Keep visualizing your tailbone working down towards your heels. So you have a joint either side of the sacrum, that triangular bone at the very base of the spine. And these are the areas which can get really tense. So send your inhalation there. Release everything on the exhalation. And you might even turn your head side to side here, feeling your forehead getting a massage on the mat. Bring your head back to the center. And inhale, come up to hands and knees. Keep gently drawing your tummy in so you're not sagging through the lower back. Exhale, round your spine, relax your neck, let your head hang down. Inhale, back into a flat back position. Exhale, step your right foot forward to the outside edge of your right hand. A wide lunge. Make sure that your right knee is not overshooting the ankle. You might come up onto fists if your wrists are tender, or if this feels like a very deep stretch, you can reduce it by coming up onto fists, or even resting your hands on something like a yoga block. Circle your hips, so imagine that you had a point on the mat in between your right heel and left knee, and you're circling around that point. Feel all the changing stretches happening around the hip area. Maybe in the front hamstring, the front of the back hip as well. If your back knee is feeling tender on the floor, do make sure you get a blanket to put underneath it, something soft. Change directions with the circles. So this is going to help release the pelvic floor, the perineum, the sacro-illiac area. So really soften all those areas and soften your jaw. And if you're holding tension in the jaw, you can equate to also holding tension in the pelvic floor. Soften. Make sure that your right knee is stacked over the ankle. And inhale as you come up onto fingertips. Exhale as you draw your right hip back, straightening the front leg as much as you can. Don't worry if you can't get it straight. Inhale as you come forward again. And exhale, step back to hands and knees. Round into round cat. Flatten into flat cat as you inhale. And on your next exhalation, step your left foot forward to the outside edge of your left hand. And begin your circles once again. Face and jaw are relaxed. Lips, teeth and tongue are relaxed. Softening everything. Keep grounding into the top of the back foot. This will help to keep pressure off the back knee and also to re-establish all your connection between your body and the earth. Change directions whenever you are ready. And just observing the differences from maybe this side, then the other side. Maybe one hip is tighter than the other. Maybe the coordination is easier, circling one way than the other. And then on your inhalation, with the left knee stacked over the ankle, come up to fingertips. Exhale, draw the hips back, rounding over the knee, working that left leg as straight as you can. Inhaling, coming forward. Exhale, step back to hands and knees and have a big round for the spine. Inhale into flat cat again. Exhale your right knee to the outside edge of your right wrist. We're looking for an external spiral of rotation at the right thigh, so roll that knee and roll that thigh out. Draw the right foot across the midline of the body and stretch your left leg out behind you. Pigeon pose. This is an excellent buttock stretch and outer hip stretch, really releasing across that sacro-iliac area now. You might stay upright with your upper body, or you might come forward onto the mat, whatever feels good. Slowly come back to hands and knees. Have a round for the spine. And let's do the other side. So left knee comes behind left wrist, a little bit out to the side to create that external spiral of rotation. The left foot comes across the midline of the body, an appropriate amount for your body, and it might not come across much, that's okay. Maybe staying upright, maybe sinking the upper body forward, but stay active through your back leg. So keep really reaching your right toes out behind you. That back leg is like a rudder, keeping you supported and stable. Breathe into the left buttock. Press into your hands as you press back up to hands and knees. Have a round for your spine. Come back into flat cat. And then send your bottom up and back into downward facing dog. Paddle the feet, dropping alternate heels down. Have a moment in stillness. Walk your feet forward and walk your hands back towards your feet, letting your knees remain bent enough so that your belly can rest on your thighs. Let your upper body relax forward, upper body hanging down, catching hold of opposite elbow like a rag doll. Observe how it feels to be catching your elbow this way, and then swap arms so you're catching the elbow the other way. Might not feel quite as natural, but could feel really refreshing in your shoulders. Bring your hands to your shins and inhale as you lift your collarbone up and forward, coming into a flat back position. Exhale, relax back down again. Inhale, draw your tummy in and hinge up at the hips, coming all the way up with a flat back. Come into a parallel foot position. Rocking forwards and backwards on the feet. Grounding them down nice and evenly. It's really important here that your feet are parallel because that keeps the sacro-iliac joint more open. Make sure you're not turning your feet out 10 to 2 at all. Thumbs on the back of the pelvis, fingers on the inner hip bones. Inhale as you tip your pelvis forward like a bowl of water spilling out the front. And exhale, tip the pelvis backwards. Continue with the breath, inhaling, tipping forwards, and exhaling, tipping backwards. Extending upon this, inhale, tip your pelvis forward and bend your knees as if sitting on a high chair. Exhale, tuck your tailbone and imagine your pelvis was like an ice cream scoop, that you're digging ice cream out the tub, so scoop the tailbone under. Inhale, tip the pelvis forward. Exhale, tuck the tail and scoop, lengthening out the lower back muscles. We'll make that the last one, feeling as though you have now a neutral pelvis, inner hip bones level with the back rim of bone. Extending your left leg out and then crossing it over the right leg. Sinking your hips down low. The knees are stacked and you can stay like this, or for more challenge, tucking the left ankle behind the right calf. Come back to center. Have some more pelvic tilts. Inhaling, tip the pelvis forward. Exhale, tip it backwards. And some more scoops. Inhaling, sitting on that imaginary chair as the pelvis tips forward. And exhaling, scooping the tailbone under. And come back to center a few times. Really lengthening that lower back out as you scoop. Coming back to center with a neutral pelvis. And extending your right leg out. Cross your right leg over the left as you sink down into that imaginary chair, stacking the knees. You might even keep your right toes on the floor or lift them up, sinking a little bit lower. Maybe, if you want the extra challenge, tucking your right foot behind the left calf. Eagle pose, legs, it is a balance. Keep breathing. Doing great. If you feel a bit wobbly, just place the right toes to the earth and you can keep sitting into that chair. Keep stretching out that sacro-illiac area. Squeeze the thighs together. When you're ready, come back to standing, paddling out the feet. Coming into a wide leg position with parallel feet. Again, really important, parallel feet. You could even turn the toes in slightly like you're pigeon-toed. Hinge forward at the hips and bend your knees as much as you need to so that you can touch the floor and your sacrum is flat, so you're not tucking the tailbone under at all. If you feel like you're tucking your tailbone under, bend your knees more, bring your weight forward a little bit more, and then imagine your tailbone pointing up to the sky. Even with really quite bent knees, you can still work your tailbone up to the sky, and it's better for your back. Bring your hands to your hips, suck your tummy in, and hinge up at the hips again. Coming to the front of your mat with parallel feet. Inhale, arms sweep forward and up. And exhale, diving forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to get belly to the thighs. Hands to the shins, inhale, flat back, and exhale, rounding forward, ground your hands. Step back into downward facing dog. Maybe have a paddle for the feet. Inhale, come onto hands and knees, bring your knees out wide, big toes together, and exhale, sink your bottom down to your heels. Relaxing again here in hare pose, and breathe. Breathe into your sacro-iliac area. Lovely deep breaths. Slowly roll up to sitting and come into a wide leg position. It's really important that you are centered on your sit bones here. If you find yourself rocking backwards, strain in your lower back or your shoulders rounding, then bend your knees, and this will help you to come forward onto the center of your sit bones with a neutral pelvis. Bring your left foot in and shift your hips towards your right leg. So it's a little shift, it's a small movement. Inquire into tipping forward at the hips. So you're keeping your heart nice and lifted. Not rounding the shoulders. Reaching your left arm up and extend up and over. So if you imagined that you had a straight line coming out the top of your right toes, you're reaching for the very top of that line, reaching up. Come back to the center and swapping over legs. So the right foot comes in, a little shift of the hips. So you're drawing back on that left hip, tipping forward at the hips. Always think of the back of the pelvis lifting and the front tipping forward. With every inhalation, feel like you're lifting and lengthening up a little bit more. Reaching up with your right arm, rolling the right shoulder back, imagining a straight line coming up the top of your left toes, and you're reaching for the very top of that line. Heart, chest, tummy rolling towards the ceiling, so make sure you're not collapsing forward. And then coming back up to the center, bring the soles of the feet together, keep them a good distance in front of your body. Move the flesh of the buttocks out the way, lifting and lengthening up the back of the body, and inquiring into tipping forward at the hips. You might keep the heart lifted or you might round over. Seated star pose. We're looking for that stretch around the outer hip, sacro-illiac lower back area. If you feel this in your inner thighs as well, that's fine. If it's only in your inner thighs though, bring your feet forward a little bit more. And then gathering your legs back in, come down via your side to the mat. Roll over to your back. Hug in your knees, rocking gently left to right. And crossing your legs over. So it's like you're sitting in a cross-legged position. Hug your knees again. Rocking side to side, enjoying that lovely massage for the sacro-illiac area. And you could even squeeze your nose up towards the knees if you wanted to here, for even more challenge and even more stretch for the lower back. Make sure you're drawing your tummy in if you're bringing nose to knee. Slowly release back down, head and shoulders back down, and then extend both arms and both legs up towards the sky. Just relax into your arms. Relax into the sacro-illiac joint. Feel the limbs are heavy. Draw your knees back in and crossing the legs the other way this time. And again, just hugging them in. Rocking side to side. Massaging out through that lower back sacro-illiac area. Feel it get a massage on the mat, on the earth. Drawing your tummy in as you close the gap at the front of the body. Bringing nose to knees. And you can rock there for a little bit, or you can relax shoulders and head back down again. See what feels right for your body. Just making sure that you keep breathing and keep noticing how you feel. And then we're releasing the legs and extending legs and arms again back up towards the sky. Shoulders feel heavy. Shoulder blades resting on the mat. And then bringing your knees back in. Let your feet come down to the earth, the knees knocking together. Toes turning in, heels turning out. And then parallel the feet. Lift your bottom, shift it to the left of the mat, place it back down, let your knees fall to the right. Try to create a right angle at your hips and a right angle at your knees. And just see if you can use your right hand just to draw the left knee down a little bit more to increase the stretch. Come back to center, hug in your knees, ground the feet down, shift your bottom to the right, let your knees fall to the left. Just placing that left hand on the right knee, and you can bring your right arm out to shoulder height if you've got the space there. Feeling nice and open across the front of the body. Don't worry if you can't get your right shoulder down to the earth. You can always pop a cushion underneath the right shoulder if you feel the support is helpful. And relaxing again, face, jaw, lips, teeth, tongue. Make your way back to center, hugging your knees in, having a gentle rock side to side. And again, bringing the knees together, toes turning in, heels turning out. Shoulders are relaxing down the back and away from the ears. And just observing how you feel here, grounding down. Relaxing, melting, softening into the earth. Feeling the support of the earth, and stay there as long as you like. If you are ready to come back to your everyday activities, then turn to your side and then use the strength of your arms to come up to sitting, observing how you feel. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do subscribe to the channel and join me over on Patreon, where you can receive longer length videos of in-depth classes. See you on the next video.